Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B, what is going on?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
Man, I just want to make sure, mic check. We got to do a mic check, man. Make sure you guys can hear us okay. I think our audio issues are fixed. So give us a thumbs up. Make sure, we want to make sure that you can hear us. I see the chat is here. Derek Weatherly's in the house.
What's going on,
Saying
Derek?
what's going on, LBHT crew. Hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday break. Yes. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure you guys can see the chat. I'll make sure you guys can see the chat. Make sure I did that correctly. All right, Charles Xavier, howdy. How does it feel to have the number one tight end, number one rush defense, number one field goal kicker, punter, top 10 O-line in every metric? You're going okay for a little bit, but we are not top 10 in O-line in any metric. It's still complaining about Lamar not having any help. Yeah, okay. Just watch that O-line and tell me they're top 10 in anything. Let me get this essential bottle off of my screen here because we don't do free advertisement there. Okay, let's see. Let us know in the chat that you can hear us. I want to make sure that you can hear us okay. Everybody is saying what's up. Oh, I got our man Simply AS10. Alex is in the house. What's going on, Alex?
What's up, Alex?
All right.
Through,
John Hazeb Ali. Yo, what's up, Ravens flock? Jake P, what's good? Mr. Eric L is in the house. He said, what's up, players, young OGs? I know all is most excellent. Yes,
sir.
King of Pugo is here. All right. So, we're still playing around with our new setup. Like I said before, it's going to be a little bumpy for a little bit, but it'll get much smoother as we go along. But look, you know what it is, man? It's Ravens week, right? It's Ravens versus Steelers week. All right. So we got a lot to discuss with that. We got some Panther. I mean, we got a lot of Panther stuff to discuss, to be honest. I mean, the title says injuries, but there's some news going on with your coach or coaches because they're both him and your offensive coordinator have been kind of looped into this rumor. So we're going to discuss that. Maybe if we got some time, get into a little NBA talk, right? We haven't talked much NBA because we don't really like to get into NBA too early in the season, but we're about a quarter away through the season, so we want to give a quick update on that. And maybe a little bit of boxing. We had an upset this weekend. All right. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into all that.
Devin Haney would tell you it was, in fact, not an upset.
But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah, it's kind of a sadder Black History fact, I guess. I just want to highlight a couple of Black trailblazers, as it were, who passed away recently. Actually, both on the 28th, both on Sunday, I believe. First was Lee Elder, who was a professional golfer who turned pro in 1950. He was the first Black golfer to play at the Masters. And he, throughout his career, he obviously had to deal with a lot of racism, and he spoke out about it. He protested against it. But he had about a 50-year career, essentially, playing PGA golf. And he wound up with 16 championships, 16 tournament wins or PGA wins. And he passed away recently. The other being Virgil Abloh, who was a fashion designer. He was the first Black artistic director for Louis Vuitton, and the third just for a French design house. Period. He was only 41 years old. He spent a lot of his time trying to pass on his knowledge to younger people and Black people in general to help them grow their own businesses. He had his own brand called Off-White that he was building as well. But he had been diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago. He kept it private and unfortunately passed away this past Sunday.
All right. Yes, that's pretty sad. I wasn't. I was hoping for something a little bit more upbeat, but okay. Look. The facts be the facts. Like we said before, most Black History facts aren't usually happy. They don't end well. Let me put it that way. And yes, JP says R.I.P. Virgil. Yes, indeed. Lawrence Trent is here. He says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Lawrence Trent?
What's up, Lawrence?
All right. Let's
so you
see.
just want to You want to jump into this Ravens and Steelers week?
You want to get into it? All right. Look. First and foremost, if you're new, I see a couple of new faces in here. If you're new, make sure you smash that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button. Not sure if we're gonna hit the goal, but we set a lofty goal for the end of the year for 1,000 subscribers. If you want to help us reach that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tell your loved ones. All right. Nice Christmas gift for us. All right. Yes. Also, make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at LBHT Show. And also, I want to give a quick shout out to our newest patron.
Yes, I don't want to put his full name out there, but Mike did sign up earlier today.
Yes.
To be part of the founders tier. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mike.
Appreciate you, Mike. Yes. All right. So let's do it.
Ravens versus Steelers week. The Steelers are bad. The Ravens not as bad. Ravens win, and we're done. And let's move on to the Carolina Panthers. Okay.
All right. Look, man. Not a good showing last Sunday night by our offense. At least the defense showed up, and I'm happy for that. But offense has to do way better. But you listen to Steelers fans, they'll tell you the same thing. Look, this looks like on paper the battle of the bums, right? Like we're these two teams aren't doing much well right now. But hey, look, we're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, and honestly, the Steelers aren't that far behind in terms of record. So, and this is a rival, so it's going to be tough. You already know it's going to be tough. It doesn't matter what the records are, to be honest. But there are high stakes here for this game. It's just a matter of who's going to turn it around, right? I mean, I'm sure both sides are thinking we have the ability, we have the talent. It's just about executing better, right? So, are we going to get it done? That's the only question.
Yeah, for me, I don't question that Lamar will turn it around. Though he had an awful game. He's aware of it. He's been talking about it. I think that Lamar will be back to his old self. I cannot say the same for Ben Roethlisberger. His old self is what you've been seeing this season at this point. He's well past it. So I don't think that you're going to see any kind of a bounce back from Ben. The thing that I'm concerned about, not really concerned about, I guess I should say, that I'm interested to see is if the defense can keep it going. The defense played a great game against Cleveland. And, we pointed out in particular, Tyus Bowser, Owe, Patrick Queen, those guys played really, really well. And I want to see if they're able to keep that going. The defense on paper looked like it should have been a dominant defense this season. Yeah. And they haven't been. They haven't lived up to that. And most of it is mental mistakes. Missed tackles, poor communication in the secondary. They give up a lot of really big plays. If they're able to get that cleaned up, they should be a great defense. So I want to see them come out and perform like a great defense again this week.
Yeah, I mean, look, and Darren said by his old self, you mean that he's old? I'm talking about Ben. Yes, yes, that's Darren. Yes. Yeah, Living Legend says Ben Roethlisberger. Shout out to Living Legend, man. Yeah, look, good performance last week by defense. They carried us. Look, Lamar's not going to have another game like that probably ever in his career, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think he's ever going to four interceptions in the game. No, I will go ahead and say that's never going to happen again. But he has to play even better than just not playing like that, right? Because the Steelers defense, even though Steelers, that they'll tell you, because I've been looking at some of their stuff and looking at some of their podcasts out there, those fans will tell you that the defense has been struggling a little bit on their end as well. But man, our O-line, despite what who was it that said in the chat?
Professor X,
yes. They're really bad. The O-line's really bad, and Villanueva likes to get decleated, and he's playing his old team, and I think that old team is licking their chops to go at him. So, we got to tighten some things up. But, look, I think it's going to be a tight game anyway. Even if they were really bad and we were really good, this is a rivalry. it would end up being a tight game anyway. So on the road, and it's a late game too. You know that it's like the 4:00 game. I hate those. On the road, this might come down to like a field goal, guys. To be honest, but we had the best kicker in the world, so I'm gonna say Ravens.
In the history of the world.
In the history of the world, yes. Forever in the universe, as they say in college contracts. I'm gonna say Ravens 27, Steelers 24.
Okay, I do want to get to this. We did get a Cash App, an anonymous Cash App, saying Ravens stop running Mr. Jackson.
You gonna put that animation in?
I absolutely agree. They've been that's something that they've needed to do for quite a while now.
Yeah,
is figure out a way to stop relying on Lamar Jackson's legs so much.
You know what the funny thing is, man? Like, a lot of people think that. I mean, look, on paper we have one of the top rushing attacks in the league, but that's carried by Lamar, right?
Yeah.
When Lamar's not running the ball, we're pretty bad. So there's something that has to be done about that, right? Like it can't be all on him. Even in last week's game, right? Like as bad as Lamar played, we didn't move the ball until Lamar started moving the ball. You know what I mean? He put us in a hole with those interceptions for sure, but also we weren't going anywhere until he actually did something with his feet. So that's on. Oh, and there we go. Oh, Anonymous donated 25. Oh, shout out to you, Anonymous. See, look, that's what we're trying to get set up for you. That's one of the things that we're doing behind the scenes, which is why we kind of had the rocky start. But look, stuff like that is what we want to give you guys on a regular basis. So now on, from when you donate, we don't have the Streamlabs link up right now, but Cash App, if you do Cash App, or if you the Streamlabs link is the same link every week. So if you have that, you can donate there, and you will get that sweet animation. Felipe says trade for Saquon. We can't trade anymore, Felipe. Trade deadline's over, right? And if you're talking about in the offseason, I mean, no, we get our running backs for next year. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. You guys love Gus Edwards before. Like you all of a sudden you don't like him anymore? I mean, he just got hurt. Man, relax. Danity. What's going on, Danity? She says,
what's up, Danity?
She says all that is Lamar. All of that is Lamar. These running backs haven't broken more than 20 yards. And but Darren disagrees. He says Freeman looks pretty good. Freeman looks like a guy, man. Like he looks like the best out of what we have. And I'm not, look, it is what it is, man. I don't expect much from Freeman at this point, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what he's doing for who he is, but
Freeman right now is a guy who will get you what's blocked.
Yeah.
And in Baltimore, that's not a lot.
Right.
And I went ahead and put that Streamlabs link in the chat. If you can pin that there.
Let me see. Make sure you guys don't go off the screen. Let me see. I don't want to mess up what I have here. If I can, I'll pin it real quick. Can you guys still see me? Yes. Give me a thumbs up if you can still see me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm gonna try to go to the Streamlabs, guys. You guys are seeing in real time what I'm trying to do here. Let me see.
Up there.
Let me see. Can you guys hear that? You guys don't go off the screen.
No, I can't hear anything.
Okay, let me see. I don't want to. Good.
But yeah, Devontae Freeman, Latavius Murray, those guys are not guys who are going to carry a rushing attack. Honestly, they shouldn't have been the players that Baltimore targeted, but it is what it is at this point. Like you said, the trade deadline's passed. They could have gone after Marlon Mack. They didn't. There's not really a whole lot out there in free agency, so they have what they have. I'd like to see them at least give Nate McCrary a chance to see if he could do anything better. But John Harbaugh, he likes his old vets. He likes the old guys out there who don't have to be coached because they can't coach. So yeah, the run game is it, and it has been not all Lamar for the last few years, but it's been the majority Lamar.
Yeah.
Lamar has led the team in rushing every year he's been in the league. Even when Mark Ingram went over 1,000 yards, Lamar led the team in rushing. Even last year with J.K. Dobbins, he hit 800 yards. Lamar led the team in rushing. So it's not something that's going to change until Greg Roman is gone. That's just the way he runs things. And the way he runs things is just taking credit for other people's talent, kind of. I don't like saying that because it's not like he's out here pounding his chest every week talking about how great he is. But
Yeah.
He just says, "Hey, give me a guy who can run, and I'll give you a running offense."
Yeah. Felipe wants to know: do you guys still think Lamar is winning MVP this year?
No.
And no. Look, we gotta be honest, right? Like we picked him to win MVP. We thought he was going to have a stellar year. He's not. He's not having a great year. Early on, it looked like he was going to do that, but no, man.
He's had a few weeks where he hasn't had it.
No.
And then this past week with the 4 interceptions, I think really kind of, it slammed the door on any chance that there was of him winning MVP.
Yeah. Let's see here. Look, for the mods in there, I see somebody looks like he's trolling a little bit. Look, I leave that up to you. You can deal with him however you want to deal with him. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, you have the power. Man, we getting trolls now. We moving up in the world. That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, troll, tell your friends. Come subscribe. All right. Look, and also we have a rule here, man. If you want to troll, that's fine. We'll rerun for free, but the rest you gotta pay for. So hit up that Cash App, okay?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Use Freeman more in the screen game. That's from Raven Ron. What's up, Raven Ron? Thanks for coming through. Look, the screen game, like they don't practice the screen. You can see it. You can see it when they go out there and try to do it. They're getting their practice in real time during these games.
Yeah.
Right? They're not executing them really well at all.
Which is odd for a team who puts such a high priority on receivers who can block, right?
Yeah.
And they go out there and they run screens and they can't do it.
I'm frustrated, man. But what's your score be? What's your score going to be?
This is going to be an aspirational pick because I do want to believe that the Ravens defense comes out and keeps it going with what they had against Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I am going to say that the offense bounces back, Lamar bounces back, and the defense, continues their good play from last week. I'm going to say it's 34-14, and the defense scores 1 touchdown.
Okay. All right. Danity, she said she told us that Lamar was slipping, and we told her to shut her black tail up. We did not tell you that, Danity.
I have never in my life said anything about anybody's black tail. That's not a thing. It's not a thing.
I changed the words up, but no. We agree with you that he wasn't playing great, but you were saying he was the reason why we were losing, and that is completely different, right? And no, we don't. We don't put a lot of blame on Lamar even when he's not playing well because you're not setting him up for success. You're not putting him in the best situation to perform well. So yes, he might play ugly, but he's still the reason why we're winning these games. If he's not doing well, if he can't carry the team 1 week, we get blown out, and then it's just like, oh well, Lamar ain't doing enough, right? This last Sunday was the first time where Lamar didn't have to put the team on his back to win.
And the player said it. Marlon Humphrey came out and said that a lot of times Lamar leads them to victory. A lot of times he does it on his own, and they felt really good to be able to pick up Lamar for once because they don't ever do that.
And that's the team. That's the team telling you that. That's the team saying it. Like, hey, we're not holding up our end of the deal here. He's carrying us out there. That's them saying it. So yeah, he's not doing great, but it's hard to fully critique him when you're not putting him in the best position to perform at a high level. That's our whole thing. But no,
yeah.
like I said, 4 interceptions, we're never going to excuse that. I don't care what you got out there. Let's see. Couch Rider says no. We just blame the coaches. Yeah. Well, Couch Rider, what's the coach's job?
Right.
You know, like, well, I mean, what is their job? Like, because I mean, I saw you were giving Wink props last week for the good performance that the defense did, but when they don't play well, is it not on him? Like, are coaches only there to take credit and none of the blame? Like,
I meant to ask also because you asked me or you asked us if we still wanted Wink fired after that one game where they played really well. And he said, yeah, we want him fired. But do you want Greg Roman fired now that the offense was terrible last week? That they turned the ball over 4 times? Is it on Roman?
And look, and shout out to Graham Cracker. I cannot argue with this. He says, I disagree. Put Colt McCoy at QB and the Ravens win at least 6 games already this season. I mean, Colt McCoy is a legend. Touche, sir. Touche. Okay.
You will never find Colt McCoy slander on this channel. Okay? We did get another anonymous. Well, actually, let me go ahead and just put it on here instead of reading it.
Okay, all right. You can read it as well. That's fine. And Tony Hendo says 11-6 Ravens. That is an awkward score. Okay. or are you talking about the record? I don't know. Garnett says 17-10 Ravens. Davon says 11-6. Spooky J. What's up, Spooky J? He says, whoever said 11-6, you ain't real fan, bro. That was Tony. That was Tony. He's a real fan. He's a real fan. Dandy, she says 2017. All right. Okay.
There we go. We got another anonymous Cash App there.
Okay.
Mr. Jackson is getting the Mr. Newton treatment.
Yes. And we're going to get to the Panthers here in a second. In fact, we can transition. Let me read a couple more comments. Alex says, blaming coaches. Me and Garnett West know a lot about that. Yeah, man. Look, they had to share some of the blame. We can't sit here and call people great. We can't say Harbaugh's a great coach. You can't say Roman and Wink are great coaches or even good coaches. You can't say Eric DaCosta is a great GM and not get results, right? Mm. It can't only be when things are going well that they get all this credit. When things aren't going well, they're the ones that created this infrastructure, right? The players that are out there are the players that they drafted, that they coached, right? It doesn't matter who's hurt. Every single team has injuries in this league.
Yeah.
Every single team. Most of the teams in the league have bad O-lines. We are the second worst O-line in the league. We've given up 36 sacks. The only team that's given up more sacks are the Bears. Yes. Yeah. Right? So I don't want to hear it. Like, somebody has to be accountable for that. It's not on Lamar. That ain't Lamar's fault that we have the second worst O-line in the league, right? It ain't Lamar's fault that we're averaging 3.7 yards a carry when he doesn't run the ball. Like, that's insane. That's not on him, you know. So no, like, they absolutely have to share some of the blame, man. Like, we can't keep letting these guys skate. Like, you gotta hold them accountable. All right, do you want to go over to go to some Panthers talk?
Yeah. So Christian McCaffrey's out for the season after Coach Rhule came out and said that, the injury didn't really look that bad, his ankle injury. He's out for the year. They just added Donte Jackson as well the other day to injured reserve. He's out for the year. And, it seems like things are coming apart at the seams a little bit in Carolina right now. Cam was awful last week. The O-line was terrible last week as well. DJ Moore specifically wasn't very good last week either. He had a few drops. And the defense isn't playing up to their level of talent, right? So it's all, kind of closing in. The feel-good time is gone a little bit. I mean, I'm still happy that Cam's there. I still enjoy watching Cam, but it's not the same as it was even just a week ago when everybody was celebrating, everybody was happy, everybody was talking playoffs. Now we're like, maybe they're going to pick in the top 10. And who are we going to get in the draft? So, it's just one of those situations where, they are kind of going along moment to moment and don't seem to have a long-term plan. I'm glad they brought Cam back. I think it was the right thing to do, but I don't think it was the right process to get to it. I don't think they said, "Hey, you know, Cam's a better quarterback than what we've got here. Let's go sign him and try to salvage the season." I think they just said, "Man, the fans are turning on us. Go get Cam. That'll give us some good PR for a week or two." And so here we are. And then you kind of even ruined that by benching him this past week, and now you've got questions about whether or not he's going to be your starting quarterback moving forward. Which, I mean, the answer is obviously the Cam is the starter. You don't have anybody anywhere near as good as Cam on the roster, and that's even taking into account that Cam's not playing well. This past week, PJ Walker is terrible, and I mean, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. We don't really need to fool around with anything like that. So things in Carolina, I think that Matt Rhule is in over his head. I think that Tepper is kind of realizing that he's in over his head, and I think it's just kind of an awkward situation, kind of riding out the rest of the season, trying to figure out where they go from here.
Yeah, look, it is what it is, man. Like those injuries are definitely going to be a blow, right? Like the 2 games that you had to win to keep this hope alive, you didn't win them, right? But you still have to go out there and play like you're trying to win. Mm-hmm. The Christian McCaffrey injury kind of surprised me a little bit. Him going on IR, because it didn't sound like it was a season-ending injury. It was
I think they're quitting.
Yes, yeah. I feel like that's a mistake, right? I think you still have to go out there and just play, even if you're not going to make the playoffs. You need to go out there and just play the games and play hard, because you got to see what you have, right? You got to see. Yes, Cam had a bad game. So what, man? Players have bad games, right? Mm-hmm. That's his second full-time starting game on this team. So what happens if he goes out there and plays great next week, right? Or this week coming up, right? So what are you going to do?
Well, they're on a bye this week.
Well, the next week. I'm sorry. So then what? You already put McCaffrey on IR, right? Like this is what I'm talking about in terms of supporting your quarterback, right? If McCaffrey can come back, give him the opportunity to come back and play, because you want to win as many games as you can with Cam there. You want to see what he can do with the full staff. Yeah, look, it is what it is, man. Like they need to keep evaluating them, because you're not going to be able to draft any quarterback high, and there's no real good quarterbacks coming out. And they're already trying to sign Cam to a multi-year deal anyway. So that tells me that Tepper wants him back regardless. Mm-hmm. So
I'm not against tanking at all. I think it's in a lot of teams' cases, it's the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
Like you put together a team that you knew wasn't going to win. Go ahead and tank and try to get better.
Yeah.
But for Carolina, there's no real point. Like you said, there aren't any great quarterback prospects coming out. At this point, you can't get to the top of the draft anyway. So tank for what? Like you said, go out there and just see what you've got, do your best, and try to evaluate the players that you have. With Cam, I think he should be back next season regardless as the starter. I don't think they're really going to have the opportunity to move on and get a better quarterback. I don't think the Deshaun Watson thing's going to happen. I don't think Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson is going to be interested in coming to Carolina with the way that they're playing. So I think you are looking at Cam Newton being the starter, at least for part of next year. And like you're saying, you have to show that confidence in him. You have to let him get the reps, and you have to just go out there and play and see what you've got. This whole we're switching quarterbacks every single year. We're going to switch quarterbacks every time one does something we don't like. It's going to lead to Matt Rhule being gone sooner than later.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want to transition to the other story?
Yeah.
Since we're talking about being gone sooner.
Yeah.
Get it? Sooner?
So Matt Rhule has come up in the rumors in Oklahoma as being a potential replacement for Lincoln Riley, who just left for USC. I don't know why you would be interested in Matt Rhule right now. And I think that Oklahoma is kind of panicking a little bit because they lost one of the best coaches in college football, and I don't think they have an answer right now. So I think they're gonna throw whatever names out there they can.
Yeah.
The talk was, I believe it was Cliff Kingsbury, right? Who they were talking about as well. The coach of the team who has the best record in the NFL. Yes, I will leave and come coach Oklahoma. Right. I don't really see that happening, but they're in that moment where, hey, we lost a great coach, and now we got to find something to sell the fans on.
Yeah. Yeah, I never bought into that Cliff Kingsbury, and we talked about that. I didn't see any reason why Kingsbury would be interested in that job. Like, obviously, every person is different, but to me, like, when you get that taste of success and respect in the NFL as a coach, that's the pinnacle, right? Like, there's nowhere to go but down. It's usually when things aren't going well, and you start thinking about the fun times you had back in college, right? Is when you usually those coaches take those jobs. But if things are going well in the NFL, I mean, it's the best of the best. I don't see why you want to go. Now, Matt Rhule
might be calling up Notre Dame.
Now, we've had this discussion on Panthers Nation podcast, right, with Rashad and Dave, and we said it on there. Like, I feel like Matt Rhule he hasn't earned anybody's respect in that locker room, or just in the league in general, right? Like, he's gotten here and he's doing the thing that a lot of first-time head coaches do, where, hey, I'm going to go in here and whip these guys into shape. I'm going to bring in a bunch of my guys that I coach in college because they're going to respect me, right? So I don't have to worry about, coaching a bunch of grown, overpaid men that don't want to do their jobs. I get the guys that play for me because they know how it is. But then when we get to the NFL, they realize, a lot of those guys didn't really respect me either. They just had to play the game. Now they're they're the same grown men that don't want to listen to me because they're paid now.
Well, and also it just, a lot of times it turns out you're not playing Coastal Carolina anymore.
Yes,
you're playing teams who have players who are much better than the guys you coached in college. You coached at Temple, and Baylor. You didn't have the best talent.
No, exactly. So I think he's finding it a little difficult. I think what happened with Teddy Bridgewater last year kind of, I think that was telling, right? Yeah. Because, one, he messed up by throwing Teddy Bridgewater under a bus about him playing, some of these games, and then Teddy Bridgewater kind of fired back, just like, you're not even coaching 2-minute, the 2-minute drill, right?
Yeah.
Or red zone offense, whatever he said. And I think that's the first time. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that a player has publicly called him out, right? Or maybe privately. And I think that kind of shook him a little bit. That's why they were quick to get rid of Teddy Bridgewater, because otherwise you should have just kept Teddy.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that was a sure sign that he wasn't really ready for this. And I don't think Matt Rhule's ready for this. I don't think he's a guy to coach this team. So.
I think that it's too much too soon for Matt. And this is a sign of a bad owner as well. Like, why did you give Matt Rhule such a long contract? Why did you give him so much money? Why did you give him so much power? Yeah. He hasn't proven anything in the NFL. Matt Rhule didn't even want to be the coach of the Panthers, right? Like, he told Tepper flew out to Matt Rhule's house because he heard the Giants were going to be talking to him, in a day or two. So he flew out there to cut in line, basically, made him this huge offer. And Matt Rhule told him, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to call New York and we'll see.
Yeah.
And New York essentially kind of laughed at the offer and said, no, we're not giving you that. Yeah. And now Matt Rhule's the coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Right. So I do think it's too much. You hired a GM who's you said publicly is essentially a yes man for the coach. And you've been doing a poor job of kind of constructing the roster up to this point. He's kind of known as a program builder. You're not really building programs in the NFL, but okay, fine, whatever. If you can identify the players that you need and get them in there, that's fine. But it doesn't look like they can.
Right.
And it looks like, at least through the first 2 years, they don't understand the importance of offensive line talent, at all. They haven't been aggressive in trying to get offensive linemen. They haven't been aggressive in trying to make the O-line better. And, the thing that was really alarming to me is sometimes you can see when a coach or a GM thinks that talent doesn't really matter. And that's what it looked like in Carolina when on the first day of free agency, they signed Cameron Irving to be their left tackle and Pat Elflein to be a starting guard.
Yeah.
Because those are guys who have failed in multiple stops. Now, I'm not saying that guys can never turn their career around, because obviously you can. But to have those guys be the ones that you went out and targeted on day one when you had money to get better linemen tells me that you just, you don't think that the players matter so much. It's, hey, we're going to coach them up, and they failed because those other coaches didn't know what they were doing, and they'll be better here. And no, they won't.
Yeah. And there's a lot of similarities with what's going on in Baltimore, right? Because we did the same exact thing. Yeah, sure. We'll ship off Orlando Brown. Maybe Ronnie Stanley's ready to come back. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. We'll go and just get somebody in free agency. Who? We'll wait and see. Oh, Villanueva's there. Yeah, grab him. He's good enough, right? You never played right tackle before? Don't worry about it. It's fine. A Deep Mahmood says, isn't Oklahoma joining the SEC? Would Rhule's lunch get eaten in that conference? I mean, look, the SEC is top heavy, right? But
yeah.
I mean, the middle and bottom of those conferences ain't nothing. He'll be just fine.
I think he'd be fine. He's a good college coach.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, there's a lot of talent in Texas and Oklahoma. If he can, and he's shown that he can recruit. And I think he'd be fine. I just don't understand why Oklahoma really wants him at this point.
Yeah. Jake P says Matt Rhule just needs to practice self-preservation like Harbaugh. Look, man, different mentality, right? Harbaugh, came up through the NFL. I mean, he had a little stint in college as I don't know, equipment, whatever, right? But I mean, he came up through. Actually, he's tied to Andy Reid, but he didn't start out with Andy Reid. He started out with I don't remember the coach's name. It was another coach who was coaching before. Was it Ray Rhodes? I want to say Ray Rhodes was the coach before Andy Reid got to Philly. He started out with him, and then when Andy Reid came on, he kept Harbaugh. So he came up through Andy Reid after that. And, I mean, he's an NFL guy, right? So his mentality is a little different. And he's had a lot of success from the time he started coaching. So it's, like I said, once you get that taste of success at this level, you're not looking to go back down. So when a successful coach is on the hot seat, it's different from a coach, especially a first-time coach in the league, being on a hot seat. They're thinking about greener pastures, right?
Yeah, and self-preservation is a skill. Harbaugh's great at it. I don't know that Matt Rhule is. Matt Rhule doesn't look like he's in control. Yeah. Harbaugh never looks like he's out of control, no matter what's happening.
Yeah.
No matter, I mean, they could be 0-13, and John Harbaugh would have that same smile on his face, like, you guys are overreacting. I got this.
Yeah.
Matt Rhule looks like he's confused. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. And shout out to Couch Rider Raven. It says, love you guys. Got to roll. It's my son's birthday. Catfish and quality time. Take care. Happy birthday to your little man. Yeah, indeed. And thanks for coming through. And make sure you subscribe to Couch Rider Raven. He does Raven's videos as well. Yeah. So will he go? Because they're talking about him or your coordinator leaving.
Joe Brady's going to be gone, I think, after this season.
No, I mean for this whole Oklahoma job.
Well, I mean, when it happens, I don't know. But, like, a lot of people have been really high on Joe Brady. They think he's kind of the next big thing, right? That's why he had, I think it was 5 head coaching interviews last season.
Oh,
now,
man.
I don't think he's going to get 5. I don't think he's going to get an NFL head coach job this year.
Spooky Jay, what are you doing?
What did he say?
Oh, man. Do we have to put you in timeout real quick, man? He says OKC is in the Big 12. It's not that good of a conference. Oh, Spooky Jay. Why? OKC is Oklahoma City.
It's a professional basketball team.
That's a pro basketball team, okay? And Oklahoma is going to be going to the SEC in a couple
in
years.
a few years.
Yeah, in a few years. So that's why we're bringing up SEC. Why'd you do it, Swookie J?
But yeah, I think Joe Brady is definitely a possibility. I think the shine is off of him a little bit. I don't think he'll get an NFL head coaching job right now. And I don't think that he will necessarily want to spend another year under Matt Rhule, tarnishing his his future prospects.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a possibility, I think. But yeah, it's early yet. They're going to make a ton of calls to every coach who has a name that they can think of to come into Oklahoma.
All right. Man, time is flying. We're gonna have to run our 2-minute offense here. All right, look, it's almost time for lunch money bets. Real quick, man. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that like and subscribe button. All right. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at LBHT Show. All right. If you want to support the show, all right, there are a couple ways you can do that. You can hit up the Cash App right below B. $ LBHT Show. B also put a link in the chat. I couldn't pin it, man. Like they I couldn't do it on my side, but it's in there somewhere. That is for our Streamlabs, right? Either way, you can just go in there, leave a donation, leave your comment, and it shows up on the screen now, right? Right above me, right where that little logo is, right? So that's how you can support. Another way is through our Patreon. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. We have 2 tiers, the $3 tier and the $10 tier. Real quick, tell them about the tiers, and then we'll bring on our guests.
Okay. So the $3 tier will get you entrance into the Overtime Show, which is the show we do every week after the live show. It's a lot of fun. We have all our patrons in there, and we just talk about anything and everything for an hour and a half, however long it goes. You also get entrance into our Pick'em League. This year we did a Survivor League where, you make one pick, and if they win, you advance. If they lose, you're out. At the end of the season, we give out a trophy for the winner, for the last person standing. This year, that was OTR Mike. So congrats to him. We're going to be getting that trophy out to you soon. The $10 tier will get you an on-screen invite into the Overtime Show, where you can join the stream and chat with us. It'll also get you entrance into our yearly fantasy football league. We're going to be converting that to a dynasty league this coming season, and we give out a custom championship belt for the champion every year. It also gets you the ability to request specific content, articles or videos on whatever topic you would like. And both of those tiers will get you entrance into our Discord channel.
All right. Okay. So, guys, it's time for all you gambling degenerates. Get your notepads ready. It's time to bring up our guy, D Weezy. D Weezy is here. He's here to give us the hot bets. Lunch money time.
Derek?
What's up, Derek?
What's going on, people? Can everybody hear me good?
Yeah. A little choppy on your end, but we can hear you.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So yeah, getting back at it this week. Y'all decided to take a week off, so I decided to take a week off. We've all seen it's been a little bit of a rough season for me, and sometimes that's just what you need to do, step back, take, some time off, just gather your head, and then try and come back strong. And that's really all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so this week, I'm looking at games and the sheet. I like Philly -6.5 going up against the Jets. We've seen just how horrible the Jets can be. We don't know what's going on with their offense, things like that. We probably can't say who's going to be starting at QB up until the last minute. So this spread might even move a little bit more in the Eagles' favorite. So, yeah, I'm on Philly -6.5. Moving on to the next game, I like the Chargers. They're actually the underdog against Cincinnati this week. I think – people saw that Pittsburgh game and maybe saw more out of Pittsburgh and think the Chargers, choked and blew it, and they kind of did. But I like what I saw out of the Chargers. I saw nothing that really said this team is fading. Okay, there may be some questions on defense, but I don't see Cincinnati coming in and doing potentially a higher caliber team could. So getting points with the Chargers and that team, I'm gonna be at. Going to the next game, everybody wants to dub KC as being back, the return.
That's right.
And all this. My question was, where did they go? Because in my opinion, this wasn't a team ravaged by injuries. This wasn't a team that brought in pieces and had to get people integrated into the offense or into the defense. Where did they go? So this week, putting up, they favored by 10 points against Denver. Put me down for Denver. We've seen Denver come out and show out against some tough teams, top tier teams in the league. So yeah, plus 10. I'll be on Denver this week. Going into the next game, we got New England versus Buffalo. New England's plus 2.5. A hot team. We really hadn't seen too many flaws out of this team. People that hate the Patriots, they've been hoping that, we're going to get to see them struggle for a few years and see them have to be normal fans like the rest of us. Well, so far this year, Mac Jones is doing the thing. And New England plus 2.5. Yeah, give me New England. We've seen Buffalo be shaky and falter a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to be taking the New England and the points in that one. And then coming to the Baltimore game, Baltimore's minus 4.5 going into the Pittsburgh, playing in the big catch-up bottle. I can't say that I expect much out of Pittsburgh this week. We saw that, grand mighty return. And my question is, how much does that team have left in the tank after what they did against the Chargers? And I still can't believe that they came with a corner blitz and left the Mike Williams wide open. Like, what? Okay. Y'all deserve to lose that game. But, yeah, I don't see much out of Pittsburgh this week, so I'll be on Baltimore minus the 4.5. Those are my plays for the week.
All right.
I see we got Degenerate Ron back in the chat.
But before we get to Degenerate Ron,
everybody done made it through their holiday break.
But Graham Cracker wants to know how sure are you on that Broncos pick, because he says he's spending his last $300 on the Broncos money line. Hopefully I win and my family can eat. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, Graham Cracker. Be all in. Okay. Go
Graham
big
Cracker,
or go home.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna say go get some groceries.
No, go big or lose your home. How about that?
Yeah.
Now Raven Ron says,
No, go ahead.
What are you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Raven Ron.
Oh
says,
no, I was just gonna say if he was for real about that, he need to go ahead and sign up for that Patreon and jump into Discord and get on this NBA plays with me. But that's another story.
Yeah,
yes.
there's NBA plays will get you right.
Yes. He that will
It
level
sounds
you
like
out.
you're in a bad way.
Raven Ron says,
you fade me on the NFL, you might win something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Okay, but go ahead.
All right, Raven Ron. He says, 3-game parlay: Chargers +3, Giants +4, Bills -3. What are your thoughts?
He's going against you again.
Well, like I said, I do like the Chargers. Yeah, we're on the same page with the Chargers, so this kind of gets interesting because he's been on the fade on me, like I've been telling people to do, because it doesn't matter who it was, what the circumstances. It seems that I've been falling on the wrong side of the line. And so, yeah, that Chargers game will be interesting. The Giants, let me check real quick who they're playing.
They got the Dolphins.
It's kind of hard to – the Dolphins? Yeah, no, I can't go against the Dolphins. They're a hot team. I mean, it's that simple. Like, by no means was anybody out there going, oh, their offense was incredibly great. It was more, where's the Panthers defense? But that defense did come out and play stout. They weren't getting sacks and necessarily, but I watched the game. The number of batted balls by that defensive line was just unbelievable, literally unbelievable. I mean, to the point where you couldn't complete a pass within that 5 to 10 yard stretch because the defensive line is swatting it down. But yeah, strong defense, hot team. I'm not sure if I can get in front of them on that one. Like I said with the Bills, if you faded me, that might be the way to go because I'm on New England plus the points. But again, you're talking about getting in front of a hot team, and so me personally, I got no problem riding with a hot team getting points.
All right, there you go. There it is. Our man Derek Weatherly. If you want to see more of him, you can read his articles that he puts out every week on the Panthers at our website lbhtshow.com. Also, like he said, he's usually in our Discord, giving the fire bets on NBA. He is on fire this week. You want to make some money? Join our Discord through our Patreon right there. Okay. And
I was 4-1 last night, folks, and I'm back on it again tonight with a big slate out there.
There you go. Right. Hey, Derek, appreciate you coming through, man. We'll see you in a few on the Overtime Show.
Thanks, Derek.
Happy to see y'all, and everybody take care out there.
Cool. All right. We're going to do bonus time here real quick, but I want to get to this Teofimo Lopez talk. I'm not sure if we'll get to the NBA talk. We'll try, but I definitely want to talk some Teofimo Lopez real quick. But first, Felipe, man, I've seen you put this in the chat a few times, man. Like, I see you. He's saying he's telling us to check out this rapper named Raciones. Mano Brown from Raciones. I don't want to mess up the name. But he wants us to look into that. Maybe that could be something we can use for our next Black History fact. So we'll check it out for sure. We'll check it out, man. Definitely. Send us an email or DM us. Just to remind us to take a look at that. All right, Sterling, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Sterling?
Let's see here. All right, Teofimo Lopez. I think I put that ticker in there. Teo, no. All right. So for those of you who don't know Teofimo Lopez, this is boxing time now. This is boxing time. All right, we're gonna get back into the Ravens talking in bonus time real quick. But for boxing, lightweight, up and coming superstar Teofimo Lopez
had 4 belts. He beat up on Vasily Lomachenko when people had him as in the top of the pound for pound rankings. And he looked like he was the first of that young crop of boxers down in those lightweights to really arrive.
Yes.
And he had a fight against George Kambosos, and it didn't go well for him.
Yeah. Got knocked down in the first round. And he looked fine. It wasn't like he was hurt or anything like that. Just kind of let his guard down for a minute. It was a good score knockdown for Kambosos. And you think, okay, he's going to wake up after that. And Kambosos just stayed on him for the majority of the fight. I mean, round after round, Kambosos just on him, and Teofimo looked like he was just loading up, waiting for the right time to go off. And, to his credit, later on, he put Kambosos down, and it looked like Kambosos was going to stay down. He hit him with a good right, and Kambosos looked like he was out of it. But Teofimo didn't finish him off. Kambosos got himself together, and he looked pretty solid after that. And he ended up winning the fight, split decision, right? It was a split decision.
Yes.
It
was a pretty close fight.
I wouldn't give it a split decision. I thought he won unanimously. But I did think after the knockdown they were going to give it to Teofimo because look, when you have a superstar or a rising star and he's a champion, they're not going to just give you those rounds that could go either way, right? Those rounds will automatically go to the champion.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty close fight. Kambosos won, but I did think it was close.
What's up,
The
Shaheem?
thing about this fight was, it was supposed to happen back in, I think, June or July, months ago. And Teofimo didn't really want the fight then. Kambosos isn't really a big name, even though he was undefeated coming into the fight. But it was he was like a mandatory challenger, and it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And Teofimo at this point is looking towards moving up to 140. He's moving up in weight, and he wants those big time fights. He's looking, at Tank Davis maybe. So he just wasn't really interested. And he said after the fight that he had thought about just dropping the belts rather than taking on the Kambosos fight and just kind of getting on with it. But he decided to go out there, and leading up to the fight, he said he was going to knock out Kambosos in the first round. He was pretty disrespectful of Kambosos, of his ability and his chance of winning the fight.
Like, look, every fighter is, man. Every fighter says the same thing. I'm gonna get you out of there early and all that stuff.
I get that, but not every fighter backs that up in the ring. You know, they say what they say to sell the fight, and then they go in there and they fight a fight. They fight a normal fight.
Yeah.
Right. You know, they work their game plan. Teofimo came out and ran across the ring and tried to knock him out in one punch. Like, he believed that George was going to be gone, and it was going to be an early night for Teo.
Look,
it just wasn't.
Look, Mikey says it. Mikey says it. Where is it? I'm trying to find his comment. He says Lopez and his daddy slept on the kid. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that is what happened. He struggled to make weight. Everybody knows he's having trouble making the weight. They didn't think that this kid could beat Teo. I don't want to call him a kid. He's older than Teo.
Yeah.
They didn't think that he could beat Teofimo, and they underestimated him.
Yeah.
And you know, all that's fine. You know, it happens. The loss isn't going to kill him. You know, he'll come back and either, you know, have a rematch or just move up and weight, and he'll be fine. But the thing that I didn't like was after the fight, George Kambosos was very gracious, and, you know, in his interview and everything. And Teofimo ran up, kind of got in his face a little bit, not like threatening him or anything, but he kind of hijacked the interview and said, yeah, you know, I won that fight. Everybody knows I won that fight. I'm not a sore loser, but I won the fight. Which, you know, you're being a sore loser right now as we speak.
Look,
but he had a lot of aggression in his tone, right? He was very angry. You know, he had a lot to say. And then George Kambosos said, okay, well, let's do it again in Australia. You know, I'll have 80,000 fans. I'll give you the rematch. And Teofimo's whole demeanor changed.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing with Teofimo. He's only 24 years old. And yes, he's off to a hot start, obviously, yeah. Right? But at that age, man, you have to be laser focused on what you're doing because you're still super young. You're not that experienced, you know. You have not seen it all. You know, you think, you know, you reached the pinnacle. You're the champion. You beat a great fighter or you know, supposedly great fighter in Lomachenko. I hesitate to call him a great fighter. He's an amazing fighter. I hesitate to call him great because he doesn't have that much pro experience either.
He's just he's fighting too heavy is all.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, great champions. Everybody sleeps on fighters, but great champions, even in an off night, can reach into the bag and pull out enough to get the win still. Mm-hmm. They can go into a fight saying, man, I slept on this dude a little bit, but I'm gonna be I can weather this and come out with the victory, whether it's through knockout, decision, or whatever. Teofimo ain't there yet. So he needs to be focused every single fight, and Mikey's absolutely right. You slept on him, and that's on his dad. His dad's a trainer. Right, and we're just talking about fathers training their sons because, you know, Porter in his fight, Sean Porter, you know, his father threw in the towel way too early and then threw his son under a bus after the fight. And, you know, look, sometimes fathers training their kids works. Other times, you know, I think it worked for Teofimo. He got to the point where he's a champion, but I think it's about time to start looking elsewhere. I don't think his father should be taking him any further because I was watching that fight too, and I noticed his father wasn't really telling him, look, man, you need to step it up. Look, man, you're losing these rounds. In fact, he's telling him the opposite. You're winning these rounds. And I'm like, you can't be lying to him right now. Like, you have to start getting some of these, picking it up a little bit and get some of these rounds, right? Yeah. So Teofimo, look, I didn't have any problem with his response. Like, you know, his pride got in the way a little bit. He was embarrassed. He didn't want to commit to doing a rematch because he didn't want to stay at that weight. Like B said, he's fighting too heavy. He was planning on moving up anyway. He said it during the interview that he was thinking about dropping the belts and not even fighting that guy, Kambosos. But he did it, and I think he's just rethinking things. I think his pride will get in the way again and say, let's run it back. I don't want to leave this division with the L. So I think they will they'll run it back again. Yeah,
probably. And I don't have any problem with him not committing to a rematch. The problem I had is you can't come out being that aggressive and getting in the dude's face, talking about how you beat him, blah, blah, blah. And then when he offers you the rematch, you say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, or he's like, oh well, yeah, I don't know, I got to spend time with my family. And he was like, Kambosos told him, he's like, no, I get that. I want him to spend time with his kid. I lost my grandfather recently, and I didn't get to spend that time with him. So take all the time you need, and then we'll do the rematch. And Tio was like, I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
So you can't do both. Is what I'm saying.
No, you can't. All right, let's fire up this bonus time. We'll say the NBA talk for later. But all right, we're going a little overtime. We'll spend a few minutes here reading some comments, answering your questions, and then we will go over to the overtime show. If you want to keep hanging out with us, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Look, I see a few comments in here, man. Graham Cracker he's all over the place today, man. Graham Cracker, man. If you wanna say what's on your mind, you want to speak anything and everything. Look, man, just $3 a month. That's as little as $3 a month. If you want to get on screen and talk even more, that's just $10, right? You can say whatever you want. You can join that overtime show, all right? Producers TV, what's going on? He says Teofimo should have just fought Haney. This fight looked like the same as Manny versus Thurman. Looking past your opponent and being inactive. Also, his dad is bad for his career. Hopefully, Cam faces Haney.
Devin Haney was very, very energetic after that Teofimo loss. He was very active on Twitter, telling everybody that Teo was a fraud and he knew it. He told him before, and asking for a fight with Kambosos, and then ending it with, "But I'm not looking past my man Jojo Diaz because Devin Haney is fighting."
Hey, thanks for coming through, Darren. Darren said, "I appreciate you coming through."
Thanks, Darren.
Attitude Pop. Okay, this is a good question. Did y'all see the book RG3 was going to be putting out on the distinction on a distinction of what happened in Washington? Basically, the book on Washington football team. Yes,
surviving Washington.
Man, I'm going to pre-order it. I'm going to pre-order it. Listen. We're not reporters. We're not the interviewing type. That's why we usually don't bring guests on, right? Because we don't attempt to bring guests because we don't know how to answer the right questions or anything like that. I would love to get RG3 on this show. I might actually try to get RG3 on this show and just because that's easy, right? We don't need to ask so many questions. Just go ahead, just whatever you want to say, just talk.
Like, so, Robert. Thoughts?
Yeah.
And then just get out of the way.
We should hit up Denarian though. Denarian, he played for Washington too. Okay, all right. Danity wants to know something on your sports bucket list. You talking about us personally, or just something we would like to see? Because we're old, so we're not playing any sports. I would love to see Lamar get a Super Bowl, man. I would love to see it because he's already league MVP. If he becomes a Super Bowl MVP, he checks all the boxes, in my opinion, to make to the Hall of Fame because they lower standards for certain people. Because we all look, it hasn't happened yet, but we all assume Eli Manning is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because he got 2 Super Bowl rings. That's the only reason, right?
Yeah.
And Eli wasn't like a trash. And his name is Manning. Yes. So if you're a league MVP, because Eli was never the best quarterback in the league or one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He was never that. So if you have something on your resume showing that you're the best in the league, at least for one season, and you're a Super Bowl MVP, and you just have a solid career after that, that's Hall of Fame resume, in my opinion. Because that's gonna be Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is definitely getting the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right? He just started his career out. When it's all said and done, he might be the greatest quarterback of all time the way he's playing. And look, he's slumming it right now, and he's still like second in the league in touchdown passes, right? Yeah. So I would love to see Lamar get that ring and get it out early because he gets the ring and he has a Super Bowl, a league MVP. There's not much you can say in terms of criticism. He's done it all. He's done more than 95% of the quarterbacks have ever done in this league. Let's see. What else we got here? The book will be juicy. Talking about the RG3 book. Yes. Mr. J the Sixth says, "Would love to see the Panthers with some consistency for more than 2 years."
Yeah,
because that's the other thing, right?
I didn't even want to answer because mine is pretty lame. It's just back-to-back winning seasons.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing.
Function like a real NFL organization for a little while.
The Panthers have never had back-to-back winning seasons.
I think everybody got that. You didn't need to repeat it. But yeah, I'd like to see the Panthers with a good owner and a good GM for a nice stretch. Get a quarterback and actually support him.
Yeah,
this is kind of what I want to see from Carolina.
All right, John Hazeb Ali says Green Bay versus Ravens. Thoughts? I think we need to focus on the Steelers. I mean, we can't look past. I can't even look to the next Cleveland game. We have to focus on. I mean, well, we don't have to. We're fans, but I mean, they have to focus week to week on their opponents. All right, I think we're gonna lose.
I think there's. I'll say this. I think there's potential for a lot of miscommunications in the secondary when you're playing Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
Let me stop. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna lose. I don't think we're gonna lose, and here's why. Those are the games that we get up for, right? That's a team that's clearly a better team, right? And those are the games that Harbaugh tends to get his teams ready for. Like, hey, look, we can't make mistakes against Aaron Rodgers. He'll eat us alive. We can't fall behind on the offense. We have to execute. We have to stay with this team. And the team responds that way. And they say, okay, look, we're going to go out there and play mistake-free football. And that's a game that they'll steal, right? Mm-hmm. It's these other games where we should be blowing these teams out the water where they just, whatever, maybe we pick up the block, maybe we don't. Maybe I complete the pass, maybe I'll throw an interception. Right. Maybe I'll cover my guy, maybe he'll take it to the house. Whatever. It's Cleveland. What's the big deal, right? Like that's how they look when they're out there. But for that game, I can see us winning that game. You guys see how they're just starting to put the blame on Matt Stafford? Yes. When every game we lose or win on Lamar, it's on Lamar, who has in 3 years achieved more than guys like Matt already have MVP playoff win. Yes. Me, if you watch this show, me and B aren't Matt Stafford fans. Good quarterback. Yeah, I'm not gonna say he's a trash quarterback, but highly overrated. You're talking about a guy that has a losing record for his career. I'll say that again. Matt Stafford has a losing record for his career. He's never won a playoff game. All right.
Listen, wins aren't a quarterback stat unless you're talking about Matt Stafford against winning teams. Because the data is very clear. All right. The data is very clear that he just, when he sees a team that he thinks is going to be a winning team, he loses it, man. Like, he can't perform. I
don't accept that argument when people say wins aren't a quarterback stat, because those same people that say that will tell you Tom Brady is the greatest of all time because of his Super Bowl rings.
Yeah. Right.
That's wins. That's the ultimate win.
And listen, right? I don't have any problem with people bringing up a quarterback's record, because it is the most important position in the game. It's the most influential position in the game. Just like I don't have any problem when, in baseball, they keep track of a pitcher's record, or in hockey, they keep track of the goalkeeper's record. They affect the game more than anybody else. So, yeah, I mean, you can win games with your quarterback playing poorly. Your quarterback can play great and you can lose the game. But over a long period of time, if you have a great quarterback, you're going to win games. If you have a bad quarterback, you're going to lose games. That's just the way it is. That's why it is the most important position in the game. That's why it's the most sought-after position in the game. That's why they make more than everybody else. That's why they get drafted at the top of the class every single year, even though there are better prospects at other positions.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford was a number 1 overall pick. In case you guys don't remember, he's been playing for 12 years. He's played with one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. He's had teams that have been a top offense and a top defense, despite what people will tell you. They'll say he's never had any good teams, but he's had, it hasn't been often, right? He did play for a bad organization, but he's had a couple of years where the team overall was good. They had a top 5 offense, a top 5 defense one year. That when they had Ndamukong Suh there, and they didn't get it done.
And it's like they won. I think it was 11 games. I'm like, how did you go 11-5 and have a top defense, and for your career you still have 7 wins against winning teams? I don't understand.
Yes,
I don't understand.
Yeah. So overrated. And look, I know people are looking at the Rams and saying, yeah, this is what happens when you try to buy a team. It doesn't work out, and I don't think it's going to work out with Matt Stafford. But all that's going to happen with the Rams is, they'll give Stafford probably another year, and when it doesn't work out, they'll just get another quarterback. Like, the Rams aren't going anywhere, right?
They'll go buy somebody more expensive.
Yes, yes, and I know you guys keep on wondering where they're going to get the money and resources from. They'll get it, right? Yeah. What's our hashtag? Hashtag make it enough. Okay, that's hashtag make it enough. All right. Raven Juan wants to know, what's it going to take for an offense to wake up in the first half? This is kind of tying into what I was saying about the Green Bay game. I think playing better teams, right? Because it's that immediate sense of urgency when you're playing a team that has their stuff together, at least on paper, right? And we gotta play the Rams. We gotta play Green Bay. So we have some tougher teams coming up. And I think it's that understanding that if we don't get our stuff together, they will destroy us out there, and we don't want to embarrass ourselves. So it'll be an immediate sense of urgency playing those better teams. That's what's gonna kind of wake up the offense. All right, a couple more, and let's get out of here. We're gonna fire up that overtime show. Shaheen says Rashad Bateman is decent, but hasn't looked as advertised. Owe has looked much better. This is why I said get a number 1 receiver in free agency. So rookie wide receivers typically don't do great numbers. You gotta give them a little time to break out. And also, he was hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 5 games in, maybe.
Yeah. From what I see from him, I like what I see. But yes, it's still very early. Owe has looked better. Yes, Owe has played. He's played the whole season, not hurt. But even Owe's case, you guys already know how I feel about Owe. Don't get me started. Owe has looked good, but we had much better edge rushers here already. Okay, I told you guys about Matt Judon. See, I'm starting to rant. I'm starting to rant. Let me stop.
The other part of it is Owe hasn't been great every game. Right, like you're seeing that he's had a few great games, and he's had some down games. And Rashad Bateman hasn't really had the opportunity yet. He hasn't blown up, but he's been pretty steady throughout the few games that he's played. You got to give him more time to show what he can do.
But he's absolutely right, though.
Get acclimated.
Owe looks really good. I mean, I didn't think Owe's going to look as good as he has now. I have no complaints about Owe, his play, man. I'm happy with it. He's getting pressure, right? He's forcing turnovers. He's being a force out there. And no, he's not going to have good games every game. I don't expect that from any rookie, really any player. But I agree with you. Like we needed to spend money on a good veteran wide receiver. Absolutely, Shaheen. I agree. I agree with your statement.
Yeah, no question. But I'm just saying, don't start losing faith on Rashad Bateman. Rashad's going to be fine.
Yeah. Danny says, talking about Matt Stafford, he was 9-40 against teams above 500. Yeah, something bad like that, man. He was terrible.
Oh no, it's worse than that.
Yeah,
it's worse than that.
So I had said before the season started, right, that Matt Stafford would have to go 16-0 or 17-0 this year to get to 500 for his all-time career record. And obviously they're not that, so he still has a losing record for his career. Let's see. The Steelers are the best team in the league. That's what Sterling says. Oh wait, no, he's responding to somebody. Would love to see his Panthers draft a decent, if not great, left tackle or any lineman not made out of paper and glass. Somebody,
they could have.
Yeah,
they could have. His name was Rashawn Slater, and he was right there.
Yeah. So, all right. I think we will end it there. Yes, Ferris. Cap is cap. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, we say it all the time, man. Don't buy into that whole cap. You know, we didn't have the cap room for this. We don't have a cap room for that. I'm gonna remind you. The rumors were that we were trying to trade for Xavier Howard. That's $15 million or $17 million against the cap, right? How are they going to do that, right? Even if Miami eats some of that salary or the bulk of the salary this year, I mean, he just signed that deal. What are we going to do for next year? How are we going to make that work, all right? So don't ever let anybody tell you we don't have the money. Look, ain't anybody telling you we don't have the money. You hit them with that hashtag make it enough. If you weren't here for that show when we talked about that, that's the line from Friday, right? When Chris Tucker, when Smokey's mom sends him to the store and says, hey, go buy me some cigarettes, and she hands him $1, he says, hold on, this ain't enough. And she looked at him and said, make it enough, right?
That's right.
You hit them with that hashtag make it enough. I don't want to hear any more excuses, especially on the O-line. If you don't do anything else, fix the O-line. Fix the O-line. And if you have to take everything away from the defense to make that happen, hashtag defund the defense. All right?
That's right.
All right, guys. We're out of here. We about to hit up that overtime show. If you want to be a part of that, patreon.com/LBHT show. If not, thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you probably on Sunday. All right? Stay safe. Have a great night. See you next time. Peace out.
And that's on me.
That is on you.
I forgot that I have to click the outro video now. So, yeah, see you on Sunday.